The Drawing Center. Here is something you can try in the Drawing Center using some chalk pastels. My idea is to make a landscape, so I'm going to choose one color to put on top and one color to put on the bottom, covering my whole page using the side of my pastel. Then I'm going to use a tissue and rub and smudge my pastel to help it get into that paper. Now I'm going to need another page, so I can get a page from my sketchbook and pull it out. We're going to need to cut it. I want to add some clouds to my landscape, so I'm going to draw some cloud lines on the top of my paper. Once I've drawn those lines, I'm going to cut along the lines nice and carefully. Now I'm going to put my clouds on top of my paper and choose another pastel color and start coloring along the tops of my clouds. Then again, I'm going to use a tissue and start smudging it up. So moving my hand up to get the smudges to go on the paper underneath. I can do this multiple times by moving the cloud down, and you'll see the shape of those lines show up once you move those clouds. Now I want to add some mountains, so I'm going to draw some mountain lines across my cloud page and again cut them out really carefully along the lines that I drew. Again, I'm going to take another chalk pastel color and color along the top of my mountain lines, and then again take my tissue and smudge up so that the pastel starts going on the paper underneath. Again, I'm adding a second layer of mountains with a different color, coloring along the top of the mountains, and then using my tissue to smudge or blend it up. I can still add other pastels if I want to, so I added some other color underneath to help make the mountains a little bit darker. And here is my chalk pastel landscape. Collage Center. Here is something you can try at the Collage Center using paper, scissors, and glue. The great thing about paper is we can use it 2D and 3D. So I want to make some 3D buildings. So I'm going to take a piece of paper and make a pretty big rectangle. Now I want it to be 3D, but before I make it 3D, if I want to add any details on my paper, it's easier to do while it's flat. So I'm going to draw some windows to make it look like a skyscraper building. Now that my details are done, I can make it 3D. So I'm going to glue one edge of my paper and then take the other edge and wrap it around to connect it to the side that I glued, making sure to pinch really hard and holding it for a couple of seconds. If a side comes loose, then just add a little bit more glue and make sure you pinch it extra hard. So that building was a circular shape. Now I'm going to make one that is a square shape. So again, taking a piece of paper and cutting a skinny rectangle or a long rectangle, and then again adding those details that I want before I make it 3D. Once I have my details done, I'm going to do the same steps as the first one. So add glue to one side and then take the other end and connect it to make a circle, making sure to pinch really hard. Now I'm going to take this circle and squish it. So like I'm folding it to make it flat. Then I'm going to push the two sides together to squish it or fold it in half the other way. This is going to make a square. Let's look at that again. So I squish it or flatten it. Then I push the two sides until they meet in the middle to flatten it the other way, and I get a square. I wonder how many 3D buildings you could make in the Collage Center.